Christianity's arrival in Africa is often told as a story of salvation, but the reality is far more complicated. The faith spread was deeply intertwined with colonial conquest, serving as both a spiritual and political tool. Missionaries and soldiers worked together, using the cross and the gun to subdue and reshape African societies. Africans were urged to abandon their traditions and accept a worldview that placed Europe at the center, fostering dependency and cultural loss. The cross became a symbol of both faith and subjugation, creating psychological and social hierarchies that persist today. While many Africans now embrace Christianity, the legacy of division and alienation remains. The faith that promised unity often deepened conflict and dependency. To understand Africa's present, we must confront this complex legacy of faith, power, and colonial ambition. Missionaries and colonial administrators formed a powerful alliance, each reinforcing the other's authority. The church taught obedience to colonial rule, framing it as divinely ordained, while the state empowered missionaries to reshape society. Traditional leaders and customs were undermined, replaced by priests and colonial officials. Missionary schools educated Africans to serve colonial interests, alienating them from their own cultures. Converts often gained privileges, creating new social divisions and a loyal elite. Religion became a marker of status, fueling internal conflict and weakening solidarity. The church's influence extended beyond faith, shaping education, governance, and social order. This fractured society, leaving a legacy of division that still affects many African nations. The partnership between church and state was central to the colonial project's success. Certain Christian teachings, like the prosperity gospel, have encouraged passive reliance on miracles over practical solutions. Resources are often funneled into churches and pastors' lifestyles rather than community development. This misallocation deepens poverty and diverts attention from real economic progress. Christianity has also fueled social conflict, especially in countries with religious divides like Nigeria. Sectarian violence and denominational rivalry fragment societies, making unity and progress difficult. Competing churches discourage cooperation, undermining collective action for justice and reform. The focus on spiritual exclusivity overshadows the need for practical, inclusive development. These fractures hinder Africa's ability to address its most pressing challenges. Christianity's spread often meant the systematic erasure of African cultures and knowledge. Missionaries dismissed traditional beliefs and practices as primitive, replacing them with European norms. Indigenous medicine and oral histories were condemned or ignored, creating a loss of valuable knowledge. Missionary education promoted European values, discouraging critical thinking and stifling local innovation. Africans were taught to see their own heritage as inferior, leading to a crisis of identity. The rejection of traditional medicine and science has had lasting health consequences. Efforts to revive indigenous culture now face resistance from entrenched religious institutions. The struggle between imposed faith and suppressed heritage remains central to Africa's search for identity. Reclaiming cultural pride is essential for true independence and progress. Despite the harm, Christian institutions have provided vital services where governments have failed. Churches have built schools and hospitals, and leaders like Desmond Tutu have championed justice. Yet, charity can foster dependency, weakening demands for accountable governance. The challenge is to harness faith's positive power without perpetuating reliance. Africa needs a version of Christianity that respects indigenous culture and encourages critical thinking. Religious leaders must guide followers toward empowerment, not passivity. True progress requires balancing faith with science, education, and good governance. Only by reconciling spiritual identity with practical needs can Africa unlock its full potential.